Okay, grade 12. Let's look at this past paper here. So this is the trial exam past paper from Devon Girls College. Okay, so this is 2022. I'm going to try and answer some of the questions from this past paper. If possible, maybe we can do the whole paper. I don't know, but let's get started. So remember, the first question says solve for x in each of the following, and you need to give all your answer. Giving all answers where relevant in simplest sat form. Okay, so what I'm going to do, they want us to solve for x here, and this has to do with sets. I think you can see that already. This is the sets, it's already isolated. You just have to square both sides. So I'm going to rewrite this guy and say this is x squared minus 5, which is equated to 2 the root x. Let me square both sides to get rid of those square root. So now, here the square root will cancel and I'll be left with the x squared minus 5. And this is equals to what? So remember, if I have a times b, everything squared, this is like a squared times b squared. So if I have 2 the root of x squared, this will be 2 to the power 2 times the root x squared. So which is 4 times the square root cancels there, we're left with x. So this will be equated to 4x. I hope that part makes sense. Okay, so if you are happy about that, what should we do next? We need to make sure that this equation is in the correct standard form, meaning in the quadratic standard form, that's x squared. The 4 comes this side to be negative, then I still have minus 5, everything equated to 0. Okay, so now you can definitely try to factorize the question and see what you have. So this is x on both sides. We are looking for the factors of 5 that when you add or subtract them, they give you the middle term of 4. So those factors is 5 and 1. So I'm going to take, since the 5 is negative, one bracket should be negative, the other one should be positive. So we're going to take the negative, which is the one for the middle number, give it to the bigger number. This one is positive. Therefore, when you solve, you'll say x is 5 or your x is minus 1. Okay, so remember, we are working with sets. Very important for us to check our final answer. So we need to check if x is 5, is the left-hand side equals to right-hand side from the given equation. From this equation, where does x, you put 5. So that will be 5 squared minus 5. So the left-hand side, we're going to have, on the left-hand side, we're going to have the root of, where does x, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put 5, where does x. Okay, so this will be 5 squared minus 5. 5 squared minus 5 squared, that's 20 minus 5. This will be the root of 20. And then this is equals to 2. The root of what? 2 the root of 5. Right. So I think if it's like this, we can definitely write this in the form of what is root 20 on your calculator? What do you get when you say root 20? You'll see that the left-hand side, it's equals to the right-hand side. So if you repeat the same steps, you'll find that minus 1 does not give us the same solution. So in this case, I need to reject that minus 1. So x must not be equal to negative 1. And that's it for that one. I'm just going to try and move to the next question. Okay, so on the next one, we need to work on minus x squared plus 4. So this is an inequality. And when you work with inequalities, you need to treat it as an equation. The very same thing that you do in equation. First thing first, making everything to be in the correct standard form. So that is minus x squared, then minus 3x, then the 4 is still positive. They should be less than or equal to 0. Then from there, that's when you can make sure that the value of a is positive. You see, I have minus x squared. I need to put it in the correct form. So change the sign of every term, meaning we're going to divide every term by negative. This gives us x squared plus 3x minus 4 greater or equals to 0. You see, when you divide by negative, the sign of the inequality changes. Then that's when you can factorize the problem. Okay, so let's see what we get when we factorize this. This is x on both sides. And then the factors of 4 that when we add or subtract them, they give us the middle term of 3 is just 4 and 1. So take the sign of the middle number, give it the bigger number, and then this one will be negative. So this will give us CVs for critical values to be x, it's minus 4, and your x to be 1. So how will this information help us? So this will help us to find the final solution. You're going to take your critical values. There is your minus 4 here, and then this is your 1. You look at the value of a. Please remember, we work with the one that is in standard form. And the one that is in standard form is this equation right here. This is the equation that we need to work on, the one that is in standard form. Okay, so now remember, you look at the value of a, which is 1 there, it's positive. So this graph will be concave up. Okay, it will have a happy face. Now, we're going to choose any number between minus 4 and 1, and I'm going to go with 0. You go to this original equation where that's x, you put that 0. You can choose minus 3, you can choose minus 2, any number, but it should not be minus 4, it should not be 1. Any number between. Perfect. So I'm going to choose 0. This will give me 0 squared. I'm substituting this in the original equation. 0 squared plus 3 into 0 minus 4. So if I say 0 squared plus 3 into 0, then minus 4, the solution is negative 4. So even if you try minus 1, even if you try minus 2 or minus 3, you still get your solution as negative. So this tells you that the solution between it's what? The solution between is negative. Therefore, if between these two critical values is negative, the other side is positive, then that's when you can conclude and write your final answer. What will be the answer now? So this is what you're going to do. You're going to say, we are looking for where the solution is greater or equals to 0. Greater or equals to 0 means positive. Where is this positive? From this point, going in that direction. Look at where that arrow is pointing. So the solution will be x. Then you write that arrow greater or equals to that one, or from this point, going in that direction. Look at where that arrow is pointing, or x, then you use that arrow less than, then you say minus 4. So this will be your final solution. Okay, so ladies and gents, it's very important that you change this thing into negative because there's a mark for that. And also, if this is just like 4-mark question, sometimes they can mark the method and then they'll give you 1 mark for each of these. Then that's how you collect your marks. But if they don't mark the method, then that's when you're going to get the 1 mark for the factor. Perfect. So now let's see what do we have next. Solve for x and y. This is simultaneous equation. How do you solve for a simultaneous equation? To solve this one, I'm going to look at, I'm given 2 equations, of course, and I'm going to look at the equation that is more simple, or the equation that does not have like x squared like this, y squared. So the equation, will be my equation 1, and I'm going to call this one my equation 2. When you look at this, you can definitely say that, okay, from this, I can make y subject of the formula from equation 1 because it's the one that has the coefficient of 1. You look at the variable that has the coefficient of 1, which is y. 1 or minus 1 is fine. So I'm going to move the y to the other side to be positive, and then move the 4 this side to be negative, which gives us 3 minus 4, and we're going to call this equation 3. So you're going to substitute that equation 3 into what? Into equation 2. So on equation 2, where you see y, you need to put 3x minus 4. So the equation 2 is x squared plus 2x. Then where there's y, we put 3x minus 4. Close the bracket, then you minus that y. Remember, y is 3x minus 4. Please don't forget to square everything, then equate this to minus 2. So the next step, I'm going to work this thing separately. Maybe I can just do it up here just to save some time. You see this guy here? I'm going to expand the bracket up here. And then multiply out the bracket. 3 times 3, that's 9x squared. 3 times minus 4, that's minus 12x. Minus 4 times 3, that's another minus 12x. Then minus 4 times minus 4, that's positive 4. I'm sorry, I think it's positive 16. Not 4, but that's 16. Try to add the like terms. This is 9x squared. Then minus 24x. When you add the two like terms, these are your like terms. These are the like terms that I'm referring to. These two, you combine them, and you also have to look at their signs. So those are your like terms. You combine them, you'll get minus 24, and we still have plus 16. Just to save time, on this equation, inside the bracket, I can put 9x squared minus 24x plus 16. So this will be x squared plus, multiply out the bracket by 2x now. 2 times 3, that's like 6x squared. 2 times minus 4, that's minus 8x. Then minus inside the bracket, this is 9x squared minus 2, 4x. For sure, now you're asking yourself, why am I putting this inside the bracket? The answer is simple, because the negative, it multiplies everything inside that bracket. So this will be 24x plus 16. Then let's bring the 2 this side to be positive 2, equate everything to 0. Okay, so what's next? I'm going to focus on trying to multiply out that bracket by negative. So this will be minus 9x squared minus 9x squared. Then this will be plus 24x minus 16 plus 2. Then that's when you can check if you have the like terms. Add those like terms. Put this thing in the correct form, the correct quadratic form. So that's x squared minus 9x squared. Is that right? Oh, it's x squared. Maybe I can just highlight the like terms like this. This goes with that term. It goes with this term. Please pay attention to the signs of those terms. So that's 1 plus 6 minus 9. So 1 plus 6, that's 7, minus 9, that gives us with negative 2x squared. Then we're going to add the ones with the what? We're going to add the ones with the x variables, which is this term. Want to add it with that term. So this will be 24 minus 8. 24 minus 8, that's 16. Then I'm going to say plus 16x. Then I'm going to say minus 16 plus 2, that's negative 14, equals to 0. Still, this equation is not in standard form. It's not in standard form. We can divide everything by -2 to get rid of this value, because first thing first, when you divide, check, can -2 divide all these terms? Yes, -2 can divide all these terms. So this will leave us with x squared here. And then 16 divided by -2, that's -8 x. Then -14 divided by 2, that will be positive. Please pay attention to that part, because it's a negative divided by a negative. Then finally, we can now factorize this equation, and let's see what we have. So I'm going to have x on both sides. I need the factors of 7, but when I add or subtract them, they give us 8. It's just 7 and 1. Since it's positive, both of them should be negative. This leaves us with the value of x being 7, or the value of x being +1. This is not the end. We need to use equation 3. We need to use equation 3 to find the corresponding y values. Remember, equation 3 was y is equals to 3x minus 4. So this will be y is equal to 3. Where does x, you're going to put 7, then you subtract 4. So that will be the corresponding y value. So that will be 3 times 7. I think that's like 21. If it's 21, we minus 4. That's like 17. So this is the first y value. Okay. The second y value will be 3 into, where there's x, we put the other x coordinate, which is 1. Then let's subtract the 4. 3 times 4, or 3 times 1, that's 3, minus 4, that's -1. So those are the corresponding y values. I know when you do simultaneous, these are the things that you need to pay attention on. Make sure that this step is very important. The first step, making one subject and one variable subject of the formula. This is a start. If you get that wrong, this affects everything. There's a mark for that. And for the fact that you understand that where there's y on the given equation, you substitute that, what is this? You substitute your 3x minus 4. The correct substitution also has a mark. Expanding the bracket, multiplying out the bracket correctly, there's a mark for that. And this is just 6 marks. So far you have 3 marks. Where is the other 3 mark going to go? The standard form, a mark for that. And then most of the time, maybe they'll give you a mark for factors, but they'll give you 1 mark for the x values, 1 mark for the y values. Please note that if one of these y values is wrong, you lose that mark. And if one of these x values is wrong, you'll also lose that mark. Please make sure that you pay attention to multiplying out the brackets, adding the like terms. This is where you can make mistakes. Just try to take your time. Next question, solve for x in terms of p. We're going to solve for x in terms of p, given that we are given x into x minus 4p, it's equal to p squared. I'm going to advise you something. If they want you to solve for x in terms of another variable, just note that this has to do with quadratic equation. Or if you see the statement, give your answer in simplest stat form. Also note that this is also has to do with the equation x is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of what? B squared minus 4ac. That's quadratic equation. So how can we use the quadratic equation? Make sure that you put this equation in the correct standard form. First, multiply out the bracket by that x. So this will be x squared minus x times 4p. That will be, look, I need you to check out this, how I'm going to write this variable. I think this one, it's also important that we highlight this one. Okay, I think it's important we definitely highlight this part here, because if I choose to, let's say I choose to multiply out the bracket, which is what I'm doing now, x times x, that's x squared. Then x times negative 4p. Please make sure that you write this way. This will be minus 4px. So the x is the variable. Then when they ask you what is the coefficient of x, will be minus 4p. You'll understand when we do the substitution. So the p squared has to come this side to be negative, p squared everything to 0. I think you can see that the equation, oh, we forgot to divide by 2 here, 2a. The equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. When I ask you what is the coefficient of b, what is the value of b? B is minus 4p. So this will be minus into minus 4p. Okay, the substitution is very important, very important. So I'll really recommend you pay attention to that. This will be minus into minus 4p, then plus or minus the root of inside the bracket, that's minus 4p squared. Then we subtract minus 4. The value of a, that's the coefficient of x squared, which is 1, and c, that's the constant value. The number that does not have a variable, that's negative p squared. So this will be negative p squared. Guys, there's a mark for the correct substitution. This is 2 into a, which is 1. So by writing this, already you have 2 marks. 1 mark is for the correct standard form, and 1 mark is for the correct substitution. So now you can just solve for x. So this will be x, this will be negative times negative, that's 4p, plus or minus the root. You need to work out the bracket. So that's 4p squared. Okay, so that's 4p squared, which gives us, I think, 4 squared, that's 16. So this will be 16, I think this is 16p squared. And then negative, okay, this will be minus, what is this? 4 times 1 is 1. Oh, this will be a negative and a negative, that gives us positive, right? So I'm going to add 4p squared. Okay, so this is not in the simplest stats form. I think I still need to work out that the square root, whatever that is inside the square root. I'm not sure if you're going to allow me to do that, but let me just go and do this, because I think this is the right thing to do in this step. Taking out the p squared out as a common factor, but it's not only just the p squared. I think the common factor might be like 4p squared. Will that work? If it's 4p squared, that's a common factor, 4p squared, then I'm left with 4, what? 4 minus, is that 4 plus 1? Okay, 4 plus 1, close the bracket, and everything divided by 2. I think that's correct so far. And then if I have, please look at what I'm about to do now. If I have 4p squared, and this is squared, and then 4 plus, what is this? 4 plus 5, that's like 5. 4 plus 1, that's 5. Can I write this as 4p squared, and then times root of 5? So that root of 4, that's 2. And then the square root will cancel, which leaves us with 2 times root 5. Maybe that can work. And then x will be, what is x equals to? What will be x equals to? So x will be 4p plus or minus, we have 2p times the root 5, because I just simplify the square root. This is over 2. So I'm not sure. Can you please, guys, allow me to say this is 4p over 2, and then plus or minus 2p root 5 over 2. Then the 2 will cancel this side, and this leaves me with the final answer of 2 goes into 4 2 times. This will be 2p plus or minus p root 5. or should we say root 5p? I think that's enough. We can stop here now. I think that's enough. This will be root 5p. Then this is in simplest form, because this sometimes we need to add or subtract. I'll just leave it like this. Thank you. So hence discuss the nature of the roots. So we need to discuss the nature of the roots. So if we discuss the nature of the roots, you're going to say, I think when they want us to discuss the nature of the roots, I'm just going to look at the whatever that I had inside the square root. So if what I have inside the square root, it's, remember, this is what I had inside the square root. That's 4p squared into 5. So look at this. If let's say I put 1 where there's p, that will give me 4 times 5. That's 20. So 20 is not a perfect square. So since it's not a perfect square, the roots are what? The roots will be irrational. Irrational. You can say they are unequal. Irrational, unequal. Ladies and gents, I wish I can explain where is this coming from, but I think we can take a minute to work on this very fast. So this is your discriminant, right? So it's either the discriminant it's less than 0, then the roots are non-real, or we're going to have the discriminant being greater or equal to 0, then the roots are real. Then if they are real, it's either the discriminant is equal to 0, then the roots are equal roots, or the discriminant is greater than 0, then it will be unequal. So if it's unequal, it continues going down. It's either the discriminant is a perfect square. And if it's a perfect square, it's rational. And if the discriminant is not a perfect square, that will be irrational. So this will explain where is my answer coming from. So you're going to first look at this 20. You can choose any number. So if we choose 2, that will be 4 times 2 is 4. Then 4 times, 2 times, what is this? Let's say we choose to put 2 here. That will be 4 into 2 squared plus 5. That is 4 times 4, which is 16, plus 5, that's 20. So you can see we keep getting the 20. Né? Oh, it's times 5. It will be 16 times 5. Okay, but let me just stick to that 1. So this will be 4 into 1 squared times 5, that's 20. So look at this. You're going to look at your 20, then you ask yourself, is this 20 a perfect square or not a perfect square? That's not a perfect square, so it's going to be irrational. Then you move up, it's going to be unequal. So the roots are irrational and unequal. Then you're done. That is where the answer is coming from. And that's it for this one. Let's move to the next question without wasting any time. The next question is asking to solve for x if you have the log x to the power 2 plus the log x to the power 3, and this is equal to 10. So to solve for this, there is a law that says that if, how can I, okay, so the log law goes like this. Okay, let me, it goes like this. If I have the log, let me just go straight to the point of a times b. The log of a times b is equal to the log a plus the log b. This is the log I'm going to use. So it's given in this form. I'm going to reverse the log and write it in that form. So this will be the log of x squared multiplied by x to the power 3. And then this is equal to 10. So look at what is happening inside. This is the log of the base are the same. I'm going to add the exponents. This is what I have. So from this point, we can definitely say we can like maybe log on both sides, or maybe we can make x subject of the formula. And how can we make x subject of the formula? We can make x subject of the formula. Remember, if on your log there's no number here, just know that this number here, it's like 10, okay? So we can say this 10 to the power that 10, so that is 10 to the power 10 is equals to, then you equate to that x to the power 5. So now, what will happen from this? What will happen from this is that this is the same as saying 5 goes into 10 how many times? 2 times. So this is the same as saying 10 to the power 2 is equal to x, which gives us 100. So x is 10 times 10, that's 100. Then this is how it is solved. Okay, so this is how it is solved. Then you can definitely collect all those 3 marks. Okay, next one, it has to do with sequence. The sequence, we are given, they say that the sequence is quadratic, and they want us to solve for x. Remember, quadratic sequence have what? The quadratic sequence, they have a second constant difference. So I'm going to rewrite my sequence for 9, x and 37. And then I'm going to find the difference between these two numbers. 9 minus 4, that's 5. Difference between this, that's x minus 9. Difference between this one, that's 37 minus x. Right, now I have my first difference. I need to work on finding my second difference. So my second difference will be x minus 9, then you minus that 5. And then what else? We need to take this 37 minus x, then we need to make sure that we put it inside the bracket. So this will be 37 minus x minus inside the brackets, that's x minus 9. So remember, the second constant difference is equal. So what I'm trying to say is that this term here, the x minus 9 minus 5, it's equal to the term 37 minus x minus into x minus 9. I hope you guys understand that part. So I'm going to equate the x 9 minus 5, that's 14, right? So we can equate this and say that this is x minus 14. It's equals to, this will be 37. We need to multiply out the bracket. So this is like 37 minus x plus 9. So minus x, that's minus 2x. Then 37 plus 9. 37 plus 9. What is that equals to? So the 3 comes here, that's 40, which will give us 46. Is that 46? Okay, plus 46. Right. Is that 46 or 44? Let me just quickly verify this. Okay, we said that 37 we add 9, that's 46. Okay. Let me try to. Okay, so this will be like minus 2x and then plus that 46. Okay, so now the minus 2 comes this side to be positive, which will give us 3x. Therefore, 46, we're going to take the 46, we minus what? 46 minus, okay, we're going to say 46 plus 14. Okay, 46 plus 14, that gives us 60. So this will be 60 because that's how it goes. And then divide both sides. X is just 3 goes into 60 20 times. So your x is 20. Then that's it for this question. We have the value of x. Now we know x is 20. This term here, that's 20. Okay, so remember, if you get your x wrong, there might be other questions that we need to answer based on that one. Let's keep moving. So hence or otherwise find the value of the 17th term. You see, to find the value of the 17th term, we need to find the general term of that sequence first. So the sequence goes like this. It's 4, 9, and we said x is 20, and then this is 37. So we need to first find the first difference. This is 5. And then if this is 5, we're going to say 20 minus 9. 20 minus 9, that's 11. 37 minus 20, that's 17. Then we subtract the 11 with the 5. This will give you 6. And then the 17 with the 11 should also give you 6 because of it has a constant difference. So to find the general term, first thing first, remember the general term of quadratic sequence, it's in the form of an squared plus bn plus c. We need to find the value of a first. To find the value of a, we say 2a is equals to 6, which is the constant difference. Then you divide both sides by 2 to find your a being 3. So this is the value of a. Then you say 3a plus b. You equate this to the first term of the first difference, that's 5. Already you know your a is 3. I'm going to multiply that one by 3. And then now this is 3 times 3, that's like 9. Plus b. 5, let's take the 9 to the other side. So that will be 5 minus 9, so b it's minus 4. The last one is finding c, and this is the formula that we use. This will be equal to the first term of the sequence. So this is the first term of the sequence. It's 4, a is 3, b is 4. Then the aim is to find c. So 3 minus 4, that's 1. Then the 1 will go to the other side. So 3 minus 4, that's minus 1. And then the 1 goes to the other side to be positive, gives us c as 5. So what is the general term? Gn is, where that's a, I put 3. So this will be 3n squared minus 4n plus 5. And the question says look for T17. So we are looking for T17. Where that's n, you're going to put 17 squared minus 4 into 17 plus 5. Therefore, T17 will be, you just have to punch that on the calculator. Let's see. 3 into 17 squared minus 4 into 17 plus 5. What is this equals to? This gives us an answer of 804. That's your final answer. And that's it for this one. That's it for this question. This is the next question. They say that the number of members of a new social networking sites, it doubles every day. On day 1, there were 200. So I'm going to create, we're still on number patterns, right? So I'm going to create a pattern based on the information that is given. So 270, that's the first term. And on day 2, there were 540 members, and this keeps going. They double. So if I have 540, and what will be on day 3? 1080, because you just take the 1080, you multiply that by 2 because they double. So the next one will be 2160, and so on. So this is your sequence. When the sequence is doubling like this tells you that you have a common ratio. Your R is T2 over T1. So 540 over that 270, which gives us that 2 you were multiplying with. Therefore, your R is 2. Okay, what is the question asking? On which day was the number of members greater than 10 million? To answer this, they are looking for N. If we are looking for N. If your Tn, you see this 10 million, your Tn, it's 10 million. Or the how many zeros? That should be 6. Then when we add that 1 0, there should be 7 zeros. That's 10 million. So they are looking for N. So you need to find the general term first. You need to understand what is your Tn. Remember, for geometric series, the sequence is in the form of A, R to the power N minus 1. What is your A? That's the first term of the sequence, 270. Inside the bracket, your R is 2. So inside the bracket, your R is 2 to the power N minus 1. So that's your general sequence. But we know what is your Tn. It's 10 million. Then this is 270 into 2 to the power N minus 1. So you just have to do what? Find N. Let's isolate the 2 to the power N minus 1 by dividing both sides by that 270. Divide by 270. So this 2 cancels. This side I'm left with 2 to the N minus 1. And then you go to your calculator. I just want to check something. 10 million divided by 270. Oh, I get decimals there. Maybe we can avoid rounding off. Let's try to avoid rounding off. Can we please leave this as 10 million, which is divided by 270? Let's just leave it like that. So now I'm going to log on both sides, or instead of logging both sides, let's apply the logs law that says that if I have y, okay, let me not say y. If I have x, which is a to the y, you see y it's on exponent. I can put y as a subject of the formula, then I'll say log the a, which is the base, becomes the base on what? It becomes the a that is the base, it becomes the base on the log. The one that was the subject of the formula, this is where you're going to write it. So what I'm trying to say, we can put this exponent as subject of the formula, equate this to the log. What was the base there? It was 2. So 2 comes here. The subject of the formula was that 10 million divided by the 270. Perfect. So we just have to bring 1 to the other side to find N. So N will be the log of that 2 of 10 million. I'm just avoiding to round off. And then you add 1. Therefore, N is equal to, let's put that on the calculator. Let's see what we have there. Because the question needs to, they're asking, on which day was the members greater? This is a keyword, greater than 10 million. So when I put this on the calculator, I get 16,17668. So that's your N. Remember, greater, you're going to round this up. You don't have to stress about the decimal. Just round it up. It will give you 17th day. Because they said greater. So you round it up. And then that's when we get the 17th there as your final answer. That was a very nice question. I think so. I don't know what you think on your side, but I think that was a very nice question. Next question has to do with sigma notations. On this one, we are given a sigma notation. They say that the sum of this pattern is equal to minus 120. What is this? The sum is equal to minus 125. Determine the value of n. Can we please try by determining the type of sequence that we're working on? Let's determine the sequence. I'm going to look at my T1, meaning from this, because it starts at k equals to 1. So my T1 will be 4 minus 3, where there's k, I put 1. And then this gives me 4 times 4 minus 3 times 1, that's 1. Then I'm going to look at my term number 2. So that's 4 minus, where there's k, I put 2. And this will be 4 minus 6. That's like minus 2. Then I'm going to look at T3. 4 minus, what is this? It's 4 minus 3 into 3. That's 4 minus 9. That's like minus 5. Okay, so I can see that the sequence goes like this. It's 1, minus 2, minus 5. So if we look at T4, this will be 4 minus 3 into 4. That's 12. So it's like saying minus 12. It's like saying 4 minus 12. That's 8. So this will be minus 8. Okay, so now if this is minus 8, we don't know where the sequence is aiding. But we know that the sum of this sequence, they give us negative 125. We are coming back to that part. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'll just, let's see. I think it's best if we start by finding what type of sequence is this. So this is minus 2, minus 1, that's minus 3. Then the next term, and then minus 5, minus into minus 2, that's like minus 5 plus 2, which is minus 3. Okay, everything good. I have a constant difference. This is what? This is a geometric sequence. I'm sorry, arithmetic. So if it's arithmetic, you're going to write the sum for arithmetic, which is n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, so now you can look at this question. They are looking for what? The value of n. We are given the sum. They said it's negative 125. And then we are looking for n. And we know what is a, which is the first term of the sequence equals 1. Therefore, we are looking for n. So I'm just going to leave the inside being n minus 1, which is multiplied by d of negative 3. Easy, right? So now let's first get rid of these 2. Remember, this is over 1. I can take the 2, multiply that, and then I'll have n outside. Let's work out the bracket. That's 2 plus, let's say 2 minus 3n plus 3. Add the like terms there. This is negative 250. And then n into 2 plus 3, that's 5. So this gives me minus 3n plus 5. Then can I multiply out the bracket with n? Yes, minus 3n squared plus 5n. And then let's bring the 250 this side to be positive 250. Equate this to 0. I don't need my n squared being negative, so I'm just going to divide everything in by negative. So therefore, this is n squared. Then plus or minus 5n. Minus 250, and then this is equal to 0. I'm going to factorize this. If you are struggling to factorize these big numbers, well, I have a solution for you. The best way to do this is like saying you put this on quadratic equation. When you put it on quadratic equation, you'll find your n being 10. or your n being minus 25 over n. Understand? Ladies and gents, why am I saying over n? Over 3. I need to teach you something. These are the solutions that you'll get on your quadratic. Okay, so for n minus 10, you bring the 10 this side, it becomes negative. So that's n minus 10. It's 0. So your factor will be what? N minus 10. Then you do the same with this guy here. If I have n to be minus 25 over 3, take this 3, multiply that n, which gives you 3n. Bring that 25 this side to be positive, equate this to 0. Therefore, this is 3n plus 25. Trust me. Then that's when you can write and say n is that minus 25 over 3, or your n is 10. Trust me. You don't want to use a quadratic formula. I'm just showing you how to find the factors using a quadratic formula. Don't show this on your steps. Don't show the quadratic, because there's a mark for finding the correct factors. And they'll give you a mark. Remember, your n must not be negative. So I'm going to reject this one. So the correct value of n must be equal to 10. So on day 10, that's when they'll be reaching like 10 million on day 10. Why am I saying 10 million? You see, I'm still on this question. So the value of n is 10. So this is 10, the sum of 10 terms, no? Okay, good. And now we move to finance. Let's say that. So the question says, Mr. Murphy took a home loan of 850,000 to buy a house, and he was required to pay a monthly installment of 30,000 at 30 years. Okay, so the bank offered him a loan at an effective interest rate of 8.3%, and they want you to determine the nominal interest rate compounded monthly that he's required to pay. So I think it's best if you first start by writing the inorm formula down. So this will be 1 plus the inorm, then this is equated to 1 plus the in over n, the set compounded monthly, right? Everything to the power n. So the interest rate was given as 8.3%, which needs to be converted. Divide that by 100, gives you 0.083. So this will be 1 plus the 0.083. It equals to 1 plus we are looking for the inorm, right? Divide that by n is for compounded, they said compounded monthly. Divide that by monthly, everything to the power 12. Okay, so now the aim is to make that inorm subject of the formula. How should we go about this? I think let's find the root, the 12. I'm not sure how to call this, but you'll see what I'm trying to do here. Then write 12 there. And then do this on both sides. Let's write the 12 there, so that this cancels and leaves us with 1 plus that inorm over 12. And then let's equate this to 12, the root of that 1 plus 0.083. So I'm going to bring the 1 this side to be negative. This is 12, the root of 1 plus 0.083. Then the 1 comes this side to be negative 1, which is still inorm over 12. So everything now in this step should be multiplied by 12 to make the I norm subject of the formula. So my I norm, it's equals to 1 plus the 0,083, then minus 1. Please remember the minus 1 is outside of the bracket. The answer that you get to divide by 12, because the aim is to get rid of that 12 this side, right? So if I say this is multiplied by 12, the 12 will cancel, but what you do on the right hand side, you have to do on the left hand side. So let's punch this on the calculator. Just give me a second. Let me just confirm what do we get when we put this on the calculator. Okay, I just have this on my look at my calculator. This is what I got now when I punch this correctly on the calculator. But remember, the answer that you get, you need to multiply that answer by 100, which gives us 8%. So the nominal rate is 8%. I hope this makes sense. Thank you very much. So the final answer for I norm is just 8% per annum. Okay, compounded monthly. Thank you very much, guys. Let's move to the next question. I'm really enjoying this one. That was very easy, 3 marks. Okay, so use the nominal interest rate. So the interest rate is 8%. Use that nominal interest rate. Showed that his monthly installment was 6,000. Ladies and gents, this is a loan, and if it's a loan, it's a present value, and the formula for present value is P is equals to X into 1 minus 1 plus I, everything to the power N, minus N, and then close the bracket, divide that by I. So when they say use your nominal interest rate to show that his monthly installment is 6,237, they are looking for X. So you just have to substitute here your P, the amount of the loan, the amount that you are borrowing is 850,000. So I'm going to substitute this and say 850,000. It's equal to X, which is what we are looking for. 1 plus I equals 8%. So take the 8 divided by 100. Always do that, 0,08. They said this is compounded monthly. So this will be over 12. Close the bracket to the power negative. How long is this loan? 30 years. So we're going to say 12 times 30 years. What do we get? What is this? 30 times 12, that's 360. So this will be to the power negative 360. Close the bracket. Everything is divided by I, which is 0,08 compounded monthly. We are looking for X. So you need to take all this part and multiply the 850 with. So what I'm trying to say is that your X will be, you take the 850,000. We're going to multiply that by everything. Why do I keep saying 1 plus 1 plus? Let's fix this now. There should be negative here. There should be negative. So negative 1. The plus is inside the bracket. So this will be 0,08 compounded monthly. The power negative 360. Everything inside the bracket divided by that 0,08 compounded monthly. So punch this on the calculator. You should get your X being that 6,237. That's your value of X. And that's it for this question. This was also easy, 3 marks. Next question says that calculate the outstanding balance on his loan at the end of the first year. At the end of the first year. This formula, the formula for outstanding balance, It goes like this. OB is equals to P into 1 plus I to the power n. Then you subtract your X into 1 plus your future value, I. Okay, this is to the power n minus 1. Everything is divided by I. So this is the formula for what? For the outstanding balance. And the n is when you know the number of payments made. We know that at the end of the first year, we're going to make how many number of payments? 12. You know the number of payments made. This is the formula for the outstanding balance. So your outstanding balance will be P, the present value, which is 850,000, right? And then 1 plus the interest rate is 0.08, and this is compounded monthly to the power. N is the number of payments made, which is 12. Then minus X is the monthly installment that we just calculated from the previous question, 602.37. And then inside the bracket, I'll have 1 plus your interest rate of 0.08 compounded monthly, everything to the power 12, you minus 1. Remember, N, let me highlight this. This N value here and that N value is the number of payments made. So let me close the bracket there. Everything here is divided by the 0.08 over 12. You need to put this correctly on the calculator, guys. Please give me a second. I'm going to put this on the calculator. Let me see what I get. Okay, ladies and gents, I tried to put this on my calculator. Guys, this is what I got here. But when you put this on the calculator, please make sure that you do this correctly. As you can see how my brackets are there. There are 2 brackets after the 62.37. Please make sure that you substitute correctly. Then I just put everything. When I'm done, I put everything inside the bracket just to show that everything should be inside the bracket. And I get this 842899.39 as my final answer. So I hope you guys understand that part. Please try practice to put it correctly on the bracket. The outstanding balance is 899.39. So this is your final answer. Okay, so the next question they're asking, he paid a total of 74,000 during the first year by means of 12 installment of 6. How much of this payment was taken by the finance company as payments towards the interest charge? So when they want you to find the interest charge, look at this. They say he paid a total of 74,000 rand during the first year by means of the 12th installment. Okay, how much of this payment was taken by the finance? First thing first, remember the principal amount at that time will be we take the amount that we borrowed, we subtract the amount that we paid on that first 8 year, which is 842899.39. So when you subtract the 2, the P is what? Let's quickly put this on the calculator. Let's see what we get. This gives us a P of 7100.61, right? So if we need to understand, they said he paid, we need to take this amount, we subtract from how much he paid. He paid to find the interest that was taken by the finance. We're gonna say this is, he paid 74,844. You subtract the 7100.61. So the interest is the difference between these two numbers. So this gives us an interest of 677 43.39. That was an easy finance, very, very easy. I think so. That was very, very easy. Okay, so on the question 4 has to do with like quadratic. I'm sorry, it has to do with probability. So on this question 4, they said that a survey was conducted among 100 teenagers and 60 parents. So the total is 160. To determine how many of them watch TV over weekends, the responses are shown in the table below. Okay, perfect. So calculate the values of A and B. So B is the total of teenagers and parents who are watching TV during the weekends. So you just have to add the two numbers. So to work out this, you just add the two numbers and see what you get. So it's 80 plus, so B, it's 128. Okay, because it's like 80, we are adding 48. You add 8 with 0, that's 8, then this is 12. Okay, so that's B. I'm gonna say B, it's 128. Then A, remember, if I take A, I add it with 12, that should give me 32. So if I say A plus 12, that should give us 32 as the total. Therefore, what is A? A will be 32 minus 12. So it's just 20. So A, the value of A, that's 20. So this will be 20. So now let's find the total. I just want us to complete this form. So 80 plus 20, this will give us 100. 48 plus 12, that will be 60. So those will be the totals of parents who, and those will be the totals of teenagers. Okay, so now if we continue answering the next questions, let's see what they have on this one. Are they even being teenager and did not watch TV during the weekend independent? So you won't be able to do this question if you don't know what is the meaning of independent. Okay, so when we say two events are independent, this is what you need to do. If you find that the probability that a teenager and how can we do this? How can I call this? How can I explain it? Let me do it like this. When I say a teenager and not watch TV, you are a teenager and you don't watch TV. If you find that the probability that you are a teenager and you don't watch TV, it's equals to the probability of being a teenager multiplied by the probability of not watching TV. If you find that these two are equal, therefore conclude and say this event are independent. So I think this has to do with understanding what you need to do first. So we need to first find the probability of being a teenager, the probability of the intersection and stuff. So I'm going to first find the probability of being a teenager. Let's find what is the probability of being a teenager. How many teenagers do we have? This will be the total of teenagers, which is 100. That will be 100 over 160. Eh? So the probability is 100 over 160. Punch that on the calculator. And this gives us 100 over 160. That's 0.625. And then, okay, this is perfect. That's the probability of being a teenager. Now, let's find the probability that you are a teenager and, okay, let's say not watch TV. The probability of not watching a TV. Because the question says, are they even being a teenager and did not watch TV during weekends? Are they independent? So I'm going to look at the probability of not watching TV. Okay, so not watching TV, remember, we need to use the total number of people who don't watch TV during the weekend, because not watching TV, we don't specify if you are a teenager or a parent. So we can't say it's 20 over 60, over 160, because they did not say a teenager not watching TV. It's like saying not watch TV. It's just not watch TV. So the total of not watching TV is 32. Then you divide that by 160. So this will be 32. Let's take the 32 divided by 160. I'm just going to quickly put this on the calculator. Let's see what this gives us. Okay, so this is equals to 0.2. So this is the probability. The last one is the probability of the intersection. Like you are a teenager. This is the intersection. You are a teenager and you don't watch TV. You are a teenager and you don't watch TV. So let's go back to the board and look at being a teenager, not watching a TV. That's 20. It will be 20 over 160. So this will be 20 over 160. 20 over 160. So I'm just going to put this on the calculator. We get 0.125. Okay, so now remember, we are looking to prove that the intersection, you see now, your intersection is 0.125. This is the probability that you are a teenager and you don't watch TV. So when you take the 0.625, you multiply that with the probability not watching TV, which was 0.2. If you get your answer 0.125, then you conclude and say these events are independent. Okay, so let's quickly work on that, because we need to show this in a step. I'm going to say that. Therefore, let me quickly put this on the calculator. What do we get? Okay, so this gives us 1 over 8, which is the same as the 0.125. So therefore, I'm going to conclude and say the probability of T intersection with not watching TV is the same as the probability of T times the probability of not watching TV. They are equal because this one is 0.125 and this one is 0.625 times 0.2, which is the same. Therefore, these two are independent. They are independent events. I think that was it for that question 4. The next question has to do with functions. This is question 5. Okay, this question 5, the first question, you are given a hyperbola and a straight function, and they want you to write down the equation of axis of symmetry. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I know that a hyperbola is 2 axes of symmetry, right? The one with a negative gradient and the one with a positive gradient. Okay, so the best thing that you can do first is to find the point of intersection, your asymptote. I think I'm going to advise you to start there, because both of these points, the one with the positive gradient, they will pass through that, and your axis of your asymptote, it's x plus 1 is 0, therefore your x is minus 1, and the value of y is just 5. So this tells you that the point here it's minus 1 and 5. Okay. Okay, so I think that when you have your those asymptotes, that's a very good start because this makes this means that you understand that the axis of symmetry, they will pass through that point. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me just write this down. The one with the positive gradient will be like this, x plus c, and the one with the negative gradient will be minus x plus c. So the aim here is just there are many methods that you can use to find this, but I'll recommend this method because this is easy. According to me, this one is easy. For me, I don't know which method you prefer, but I'll only just show you guys one method. This is minus 5, this is your x, this is your y. So you just have to find c for both of these equations. So then when you find c, let's first substitute. Where there's y, I'm going to put 5. Where there's x, I put minus 1 plus c. So the 1 comes this side to be positive. What is your c? C is positive 6. Therefore, the equation becomes y is equals to x plus 6. So this is for the positive gradient. So you'll see that the axis of symmetry will look like this. It will look like this. It will pass through exactly at this point. It will look like this. The one with the negative will look like this. I'm not sure if you guys understand that. Okay, so let's do the same. So if we do the same, where there's y, I put 5. Where there's x, I put minus 1 plus c. So this is 5. It's 4 plus c. The 4 comes this side to be negative, which gives us like 5. It's okay. This will be minus into minus 1. What is this? That's positive 1, not 4. The 1 comes this side to be 5 minus 1. So you'll see it's just 4. So the graph of the axis of symmetry is minus x plus 4. This is another answer. Okay, so determine the x-coordinate of the point of intersection of F and G. So when we need the point of intersection, you just have to equate these two graphs and start solving for x, because they just want the x-coordinate only. They don't want the point of intersection, but the x. You don't have to calculate the y. So I'm going to say my f at x equated to g at x. So f at x, it's equals to g at x, and my f at x, that's minus 3 over x plus 1 minus 3x plus 2. Remember, the aim, they're just trying to check if you can do your algebra. Let's get rid of the fraction, meaning we need to multiply every term by that x plus 1. So this will be x plus 1. I need to multiply the 3 over that x plus 1. Then x plus 1, I need to multiply the 5. Then x plus 1, I need to multiply the negative 3x plus 2. So these two cancels, I'm left with 3. Then multiply out the bracket by 5, that's 5x. Okay, plus, that's 5x plus 1. Minus 3, that's 5x plus 5. This is equals to, let's first multiply out the bracket by x. That will be minus 3x squared plus 2x. Now let's multiply by 1. That's minus 3x plus 2. So now let's add the like terms on both sides. I have 5x. And minus 3 plus 5, that's plus 2. And then this will give me the like terms. 2 minus 3, that's minus x. So this will be minus 3x squared minus x plus 2. So can we bring the 3x squared this side to be positive? And then we still have plus the x this side, it's 5x plus x, that's 6x. Then 2 and the 2 comes this side to be negative, they cancel. So what's next? Common factor, 3x, I'm left with x plus 6. Oh, x plus 2 because the common factor is 3x. So when I solve the value of x, it's 0, or you'll find that your x is minus 2. Because if I say 3x, it's equal to 0, divide both sides by 3, that is just x being 0. So those are the x coordinates of the point of intersection. Equate the two graphs, remove the fraction by multiplying every term by that denominator, multiply out the brackets correctly, combine the like terms, move everything on one side. Those are the steps. Question 6, you are given the function t at x, which is minus 3x squared minus 2. Oh, finally we are doing something interesting, which is the first principle. Determine the derivative from the first principle. Before I do the first principle, I'm going to derive this using the rules. So this will be minus 3 multiplied by 2x to the power 2 minus 1. And then the derivative of minus 2 is 0. So the answer should be minus 6x. If I find the derivative from first principle, I don't get this, then that's when I can see that I've made a mistake. Then I'll go back and review my answer. So to find t prime at x, we're going to use the limit of f at x plus h minus f at x, everything divided by h as h approaches 0. First thing first, let me find my f at x plus h, meaning that on the original equation where there's x, I'm going to put x plus h, this is squared, minus 2. So please work out this maybe somewhere and say I have minus 3 into x plus h, expand that x plus h, then minus 3 into x squared plus x times h and x times h, that's 2xh plus h squared. So this tells you that we need to multiply everything inside the bracket by minus 3. This gives us minus 3 x squared minus 6 xh, then minus 3h squared. So my f at x plus h, therefore f at x plus h, that will be negative 3x squared minus 6xh minus 3h squared. Okay, perfect. So now, therefore, let's just substitute t prime, or let's see. I will just go straight to the point and say the limit as h approaches 0, my f at x plus h is negative 3x squared minus 6xh minus 3h squared. Minus inside a bracket, your f at x, always put your f at x inside the bracket. And then now your h is just h, then on top you're going to multiply out the bracket with that negative, that leaves out with 3x squared minus 6xh minus 3h squared plus 3x squared plus 2. We're just multiplying out the bracket by negative. The sign of every term changes. So look at this. These two, or are we leaving something? Are we forgetting something? I think so. I think so, because remember, we still have this minus 2 here. Né? We forgot to include the minus 2 there. So we need to include the minus 2 here. We need to include the minus 2 there. Okay, so that this minus 2 and that 2 cancels, the 3x squared and the minus 3x squared cancel. How did I see that we missed something? I know that this f at x that is inside the bracket, it will be completely cancelled. Then when I see the only 3x squared cancelling, that's when I saw that there's something wrong. Then the limit sh approaches 0, this we left with minus 6 xh minus the 3x squared over h. So now we can take, because the reason is to get rid of h as the denominator, so that when we substitute h, we don't get anything divided by 0. So this will be the limit as h approaches 0. I'm going to take h out as a common factor on top. Okay, so when I take h out as a common factor, this leaves me with minus 6x minus 3h over h. So these two guys cancels. This leaves us with the limit sh approaches 0 minus 6x minus 3h. So now we don't have the denominator. We can do a direct substitution. Please, when you substitute h, drop the limit part. You drop the writing the limit, and then this gives us minus 6x as the final answer, which is exactly what we need. Minus 6x, exactly what we got there on top. Then, ladies and gents, that's first principle. Easy maths. Okay, so on this one, when you do the limit, what is this? When you derive, make sure that now we are deriving using the rules, right? Make sure that you get rid of the exponents, what. So let's look at this term first. 4 over x. I have 4 over x, which can be written as 4 times 1 over x. The 1 over x is x to the power minus 1. So I'm going to say my f at x is just 4 x to the minus 1. Then let's get rid of that square root. I know that to get rid of the square root, if I have the root of x, this is just x to the power 1 over 2. So this will be minus x to the power 1 over 2. Then another fraction, this will be 1 over 2x to the power minus 1. Okay, now I can find the derivative. To find the f prime, this will be the minus 1 comes down to be multiplying with 4 x to the power minus 1 with minus 1 on top, and then minus the 1 over 2 comes down, and then on top with minus 1, then plus the negative 1 comes down to multiply the 1 over 2. On top we need to subtract 1. So this gives us the answer of minus 4 x negative 2, and then minus 1 over 2 on top, 1 over 2 minus 1, that's like minus 1 over 2. Then negative. Okay, so this will just be, I'm trying to understand where did I get the minus 1, because the x is on top here. Where is this minus 1 coming from? So this one be negative, this one be, okay, so this one, that's negative, then this will be plus 1 over 2, because this is positive, right? So 1 over 2, this is x to the power 0, any number to the power 0 is 1. So this is the final answer of the derivative. Oh, Jesus Christ. I think most of the time we just covered every question except for cubic functions, okay? So this is how you prepare for your final exam. Okay, I'm just gonna work on the last question of this question paper. This was section A. On part 2 of this video, I'll be working on section B. So this is the end on section A. Okay, so now the last question, it says that find the equation of a tangent to the curve of f at x is equal to x squared minus 3x, where the gradient is equals to 5. Okay, so now we are given that the gradient, when we find the gradient, we know that f prime uh, at x is given as 5. Then we need to derive this guy here because we are looking for the equation of a tangent. Let's find the derivative. So this is 2x minus 3. This is the derivative of this question. Then equate that to 5. Solve for x. The 3 comes to the other side to be 8. Divide both sides by 2. Your x is 4. Okay, so now if your x is 4, we are looking for the point of contact. So I'm going to look at f at 4 from the original equation. Where does x I put 4? This will be 4 squared, that's 16, minus 12. So it's minus 12 because 3 into 4, that's 12. This gives us 4. 16 minus 12, that's 4. Therefore, the point of contact will be 4 and 4. Okay, so remember, the equation of the tangent, it's in the form of mx plus c. So if it's in the form of mx plus c, what is your gradient? It's 5. It was given as 5. So that will be 5x plus c. Then we use this point. This is your x, this is your y to find the value of c. So this will be 4 into 5 into 4 plus c. Therefore, 5 times 4, that's 20 plus c. What is c equals to? It's 4 minus 20, that's negative 16. So the equation becomes y is 5x minus 16. This is the equation of the tangent. Ladies and gents, we're going to work on, this was section A of this trial exam question paper. On the next lesson, I'll focus on section B. On the next lesson, I'll focus on section B, which is up to question 13, 14. Okay, up to question 14. So if you really enjoyed the lesson, please make sure that you leave a comment, like the lesson, follow us on TikTok and Facebook, click for Spark Genius Academy. Now, please make sure that if you want to see the next lesson on this trial exam preparation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'm looking forward to see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much for watching.